afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Friday.
Woo!
It's December 6th.
Yep, nailed it.
This is fantasy football.
Harsh reality.
Now, we had a lot going on heading into this week. Week 14. Again, I bemoan it every week, and I'll bemoan it again today. I hate how fast it goes.
I mean, this is the last week of fantasy
The
football.
last week of everyone
people.
playing. And there are some people that are straight tanking for first place at this
That's
point,
stupid.
depending on your league rules. You know,
Yeah.
one of the best things you did, Scott,
Thank you.
was instituting the
Consolation bracket.
the consolation bracket that you have to win. Whoever wins that ends up getting first pick, so that you don't.
Or they can take whichever.
Right, they get
want.
your first choice. Right,
right.
Which to me, I think every league should do this. You shouldn't be allowed to just tank and we do reverse order. It shouldn't be like that. There should, because it is a double-edged sword. And I'll tell you why. Because on the one hand, it does give everyone something to play for all the way to the end, which I love as someone who's I love battling to the end. I don't care that my record is whatever 6-9. I want to play to win the game. By the same token, you then also have guys with nothing to play for taking up good waiver wire picks that kind of need to go to guys who are still in the mix.
I hear it is a dilemma.
And it is. And leagues do need to make that clear. There needs to be a clear decision stated. Everyone gets to pick, or if you're not in the championship bracket, you don't get to pick. Because one of the troubles I've had in leagues before is where they just think you shouldn't.
Right.
And I'm like, no. I play to the end buzzer until that last buzzer goes, I play to the end.
Right.
I'm not giving up. Like, you shouldn't be picking up players. You're not in the playoffs. I'm like, I am in the playoffs. I'm in the consolation playoffs. Even if there's nothing to play with, I'm playing till the fucking bell. So it does, if you institute this, you do need to just be absolutely clear. Whether you institute it or not, it does need to be defined in print whether or not people in the playoffs can or cannot pick up waiver wire plays, especially if you're in a league which is automatically in reverse standing. Those are the worst, because now you are losing players to guys that have nothing to play for. And this shit needs to be decided before the season starts. And it always doesn't come up till this fucking week. And if you haven't set it in stone and it's an expectation, then we're going to fight about it. We're going to fight about it all fucking week, and I'm probably going to quit your league. So just know, whether you institute, it's a real thing, and it only comes up this fucking week. If you have a league, whether you institute the consolation bracket or not, it needs to be written in stone before the season starts, whether or not non-competitive playoff teams can pick up waiver wire players for this week. And it's very important that it's discussed.
You know, our league is great because our commissioner is one of the best, I think. You know, I am so glad that Nick commissions our league, because
he is tremendous patience.
He has great patience, but he also is very upfront about everything. And he's always saying a month in advance before, he's like, if there are any rule changes that you want instituted, let me know now. So what I like to do
can I just
write down everything.
He sends out these emails that he's like, no one reads them.
No one.
But I do too. But you always know when we get to this part of the season, and people are like, well,
Eric never reads it.
Right. It's like,
Eric never reads it.
If you read the email, it was in the email. And that is, again, written in stone. It needs to be documented. It needs to be out there so you can say, look at that fucking email. I said this and you didn't vote.
And we all vote on it. Exactly.
We vote.
See, that's what makes our league awesome. We always have made it better and better. And I think that any problems you have with your league, you write them down while you think about it, while you keep a little, fantasy journal or whatever you've got. write it down, and at the end of the
and
season,
bring it up at the beginning of next season when they're like, "Are there any?" Like, and I have always got one thing that I hold on to all off season. That the second that message goes, I was like, "I would like to bring it up." I'm like,
yes, which is great.
I'm notorious for it, but it's important. It avoids complications this week and friction when guys are like, "You shouldn't be doing that," and I'm like, "No, it says I can't."
I think a fair way to handle it would be, not that the guys in the consolation bracket, because if they are playing for first pick, it's not that they're playing for nothing. I mean, that is about next season, and
totally,
it's a big
without
deal.
question, it's a brilliant thing.
So like there is something there, but I would say that perhaps the people in the consolation bracket they don't get like after all of the original waivers go through. Then
you can pick up guys. Absolutely.
Yes. Then they're opened up and they can take whoever.
And again, this just needs to be written in stone. It just needs to be said. Everyone needs to understand it. Whether you do it that, whatever your system is, whether you leave it open, like, nope, anybody, whatever. That needs to be said in advance, and everyone needs to understand it. Because when we get to this week, there's always guys that are right there teetering on the edge who are going to lose their minds with some piece of shit who didn't do who's got nothing to play for, takes Isaac Guerendo when you need him with all of your fucking heart and soul. This shit, it always happens this week. This week is never without that. It's never without that. It needs to be written in stone.
It's crazy that we're starting our episode with this, because my first what are we going to do is, what are we going to do about teams not in contention grabbing the best players off the wire? Should we make new rules? That's the first thing that I've got on my what are we going to do.
Once again, you and I lockstep.
Yeah, amazing.
In the most critical issues of the week in fantasy football. And if you want to say this isn't the most critical issue, then you're not paying attention.
Yeah, well, because you shouldn't be in a league. You shouldn't be if you're not into it as much as, you've got to be in. I mean,
well, especially if you're going to throw a shit fit at this time of the year.
Right.
If you're going to throw a shit fit, well, let's go to the rules. And I have to admit, like in my Dynasty League, which this will come up again in our major storylines, but in my Dynasty League, which I only do one because I fucking hate Dynasty Leagues. But
until you win, and then you have a Dynasty.
Well, listen, every year.
You win?
Every year, top 2. So, because these fucking guys, because it's a newer Dynasty League and no one knew what they were doing. And I was just like, well, if you're going to leave all these amazing players at the top, I'm just going to scoop them all up. Someone's got to win now. In 2 years, I'm done. But I got this year and next season. These are my last 2 fucking, just to let you know.
Start thinking about those trades.
Right. Next season, I'll start selling pieces off. But this season, I've got Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. So I got right.
Wow.
Exactly.
So congratulations, man.
Real nice place over there. And yet somehow I'm in second. But either way.
Yes.
Well, because my receivers are one young guy. Whatever. The thing is this. In the Dynasty League, we don't have a rule against tanking. There's no rule against tanking. And as it turns out, in my last game of the regular season, I'm against the guy that's tanking. So, of course, one of the other guys, who's also the commissioner of the league, is like, so it's a little obvious, like, look to these fucking tanking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, number one, and he was like, there's no rule against it. I'm like, yeah, there's no rule against it. Number one, can we talk about this next week?
Because you're playing him this week.
Because I could kind of use a big win to just really. It might even put me in first. So just
and he's bringing it up now, but the guy's been tanking for weeks. So it's not fair. Look, if everyone else gets to do it, you're like, that's fine, but we can talk about it next season. Forget about next week.
And that's the point I made.
Yes.
I said, look, regardless of how you feel, this cannot be addressed until the off season. We've already, the rules are in place. We're not changing rules now.
Unless there's something agreed.
You can complain all you fucking want. This cannot be discussed until June. So until then, shut the fuck up and let me take this fucking dance.
Or March.
Or whatever, but waltz into the fucking playoffs with this. You got yours, I get mine.
Yeah, it's not fair. It is unfair. If it's the same if it was that way for one, it's got to be that way for all. If you make a change, it's not right.
Like, now, why are you bringing it up now? And he had said that the commissioner reached out to him and said, at least just start guys starting. Don't leave bye players in there, IR players in there.
I think that's fair.
And he conformed to that. He conformed to that. He isn't picking, like, he's playing whoever is active.
Right.
But that is the greatest, to me, he doesn't even need to make that concession, to be honest, legally.
True. If he wasn't doing that the whole time, then he doesn't need to start this week. He does.
But,
he shouldn't be forced to do that. And you shouldn't be forced into playing against him that way, I think.
Right. And so we got, so I was
But that should be the number one rule for all leagues, is that you have to have a full starting lineup.
Right. But again, if it's not written in stone, it's nice of him to adhere to that as a courtesy. I agree with that. Set your lineup. I always agree.
It has to be a starting lineup.
At least set your fucking lineup.
Yeah.
At least make it, like you're involved. That's all I'm saying.
Like, for instance, in our league, I right now don't have a kicker in, but I'm waiting for them to put Breece Hall on as out so I can
Which
go
they
to
did
IR.
Today. Yeah.
No, they didn't. They did the
just right now. Right now he did.
Oh, they did, because he was doubtful.
He's officially out. He's officially out.
So
I will double check that right now.
Because he was doubtful last time I looked, which was about
a couple hours ago.
Yeah, 20 minutes before we started.
But literally, I think they just announced.
Okay, because I got my phone
officially out. No, they still have listed
so doubtful. So yeah, he was downgraded to doubtful, which is the worst thing, because it's like, dude, just if he's doubtful,
just call him out. I know.
Just call him
out. I know.
So I can go and put him on IR, because I don't want to drop Kaimi Fairbairn.
No, and you shouldn't have to drop anybody over it. But you do have to wait, and if somebody else jumps the gun on it, well, that's on you.
It's just a kicker, and I've already locked up the bye week. I think I've even won all the high points and everything as far as like for the season. So like, I'm not really playing for anything this week, and I'm not even playing against somebody.
And you're playing against a guy who still has Christian McCaffrey in his fucking lineup. So
yeah, and Justin Tucker, but he'll probably move it around. I mean,
he usually shows up like late Saturday, early Sunday, and goes in and sets his lineup. It's annoying as fuck, but he does it.
I hear you. You're absolutely right. All right, you want to get into headlines, or actually, you know what? There is one thing I wanted to just tell you for your Dynasty League. I don't know what platform you're using, but I use Sleeper. Okay, great. Sleeper has a setting for commissioners that for Dynasty leagues, that it's not about who finishes last for the waiver or for the draft order position for the next year. It's about total points. Forget about whether you started them or not. It's total points. So even if you keep your best players on the bench, if they go off, you still don't get first. So you may as well play those great players, because you're getting charged for the points anyway.
Well, that's fine. That's got to be a decision made in the offseason. It's too late to go back and do that now.
No, I know, but it's a good setting.
I'm not a big fan of that, because if you're going to allow tanking, allow tanking.
I don't think you should. I
don't think you should either. I don't think you should either.
Less fun.
And I think that the consolation bracket style is the best solution.
100%. Yep. Well, that's why we did it. I mean,
Although I'll never forget the year I squeaked into the playoffs, lost immediately, and would have dominated the fucking consolation bracket. I was like, I wish I just lost that last game, gone to the consolation bracket, and gotten first pick. It would have been far better. Yeah, but
you were trying to win money, not a pick. You were going for the prize. Anything can happen. Dude, you've seen it where you go 0-5. Look, Mesh beat me last year with an 8-16, and I had a 10 or 11-2 or 11-3 or something. It was ridiculous that he beat me, but it was any given week. I mean, any team could go off. They could go on a stretch, and your team could fall apart. It happens. So you know what? You did the right thing. You're playing for the victory. You play to win.
I always play to win. I can't help it. I don't want. I'm not a tanker. I can't do it.
It's hard, and it sucks for everybody else too, because it doesn't just affect you; it affects the whole league. When somebody, in
my comedians league where I'm the commissioner, I literally gave the one win to the fucking tank loser bus motherfucker, and he's not trying to tank. He just has the worst team, but then I had a worse week than he did.
I understand that too. Yeah. All right, should we do it? Should we get into headlines?
Headlines. Here we go. Number one, with a bullet, Eberflus fired in Chicago. Does this mean the uptick against the Niners? I'm going to say fuck yeah.
Yes.
They've been borderline every fucking game. Them in Carolina are these scrappy outfits with tremendous talent that have been right there every fucking time. And it takes a moment like this for them to cut loose. And the Niners reeling, I love it. I love Chicago.
Yeah, it's perfect. I do too. I think I think that it is going to be a big boost. And did you know when's the last time that Caleb Williams threw an interception?
I think it was 6 games ago, 7
That
games.
is correct. Well done, sir. Usually I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Well done. 6 straight starts for a rookie not to throw an interception
and lose. Those are not compatible. Usually, if they're losing, it's because he's throwing interceptions.
I think
this is not the case.
Chicago or whatever. I mean, you know what it is. Ever since that Hail Mary, they've just been like their soul left them. You know,
it is rare that you can track it to a single moment in time that changes the trajectory of life.
The whole team, yeah.
But that moment changed the trajectory of their season. Into guys going in there going, we're gonna beat you, to guys going in there, we're probably gonna lose by a point. Like,
yeah, exactly. They're resigned to their fate. I feel
but they're not. They're fighting hard. It's just destiny isn't with them. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah,
but I'm so glad they fired Eberflus after that loss.
Yeah.
It was on him, and for him to stand there and go like, I don't know, I liked what we did. Oh, you did?
He gone.
You gone.
He gone.
You gone.
Yeah,
Get the bricks, motherfucker.
Well, that brings me
right there with your fucking name on it, Mister. You like that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to the next headlines. CMC. He gone.
He gone.
Jordan Mason.
He gone. Okay. Wait.
Hold on. Taysom Hill. He gone.
Is he gone too? I didn't even know.
IR. How about Trevor Lawrence?
He gone.
And how about Deontay Johnson for this next week?
He gone. Okay, so let me tell you something.
What? I love it when you get like this.
So
something good.
I'm looking at the weather at the Bills game, and a little voice in my head is like, "Get Jordan Mason right now. Go pick him back up across all leagues." Because who's been saying, I hate to say I told you so, but who was saying it from the jump about McCaffrey?
Not just him, Nick Chubb, everybody. You had a whole discussion about knee injuries, but yeah, it's you. It's you.
And I was like, I've seen this movie before. He's in for a minute, then he's going to be back out. Don't trade for it. And didn't I say sell him right now?
You
sell
did.
Him high.
Week 10 before he started.
Now back to what I said. We bring up the Dynasty League again. Right before this, right at the trade deadline, CMC on the guy who is right with me for number 1 in the Dynasty League. He who is ahead of me traded 2 first-round draft picks for CMC, expecting it to be
so for the next 2 years, he is not going to have a first-round draft.
Now he had accumulated draft picks, so one was his and one was not his.
Okay.
So he will still have one, but then the other one was his. So. So, but I mean, when it happened, I of course was like, I was after that,
You're like, okay, good move.
Now I'm mad at myself because I was like, Greg, you thought go get Jordan Mason. Then 2 plays later, Jordan Mason goes.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's like Samson. He cut his hair, and now he's got no power.
No power.
No power. Gone. He's gone. What was a high ankle sprain? I think. Yeah, out.
Gone.
I mean, Isaac Guerendo.
I was like, well, somebody, and I actually felt better because I was like, I didn't listen to myself, but also wouldn't have mattered because he's fucking gone and it's Isaac Guerendo.
You did listen to yourself. You got him in our league. You got Jordan Mason. I saw that.
And I let him go. I let him go.
For like maybe 20 minutes, you were like, yes,
totally. And then it was like, no.
And then it was, why isn't Jordan in there now that Christian's out? Why is it all Guerendo? And then you come to find out they're both on IR. So well, I think that guy who traded away his picks, is fucked because I think Christian McCaffrey is going to retire. I don't think he's going to come back.
That's all I was thinking was his only saving grace is that it is Dynasty, and he'll still have him next season.
Nope. I don't think he will. I think he'll
But
retire.
I was saying this: trade him now, get max value now. I said it. I couldn't have said it more passionately. And
Yep.
now
You were
that
right.
guy's sitting on 2 first-round picks
Lucky.
extra. He's got
God.
2 in each. The next 2 years, he
Jeez.
has 2 first-round picks.
That's going to be, he's going to, wow. Talk about a dynasty builder. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
And the first
Wow.
round is everything in Dynasty.
Of course. Well, I mean, it's all rookies. After the initial year,
After
all
the
you're
first
drafting
round,
are rookies.
it's all just what you might get lucky in the second round. It's just fucking junk
It's
names in
garbage.
third and
Yeah, it's
fourth.
people you don't even know.
Yeah,
You're just taking
you're right. You're just going on whatever.
guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow. Well, good on that guy. Congratulations, whoever you are that did that, that got those picks.
But I was the one saying it over and over again. Trade him now. Get something for him now. And I couldn't have been more right.
You were. There are 2 other things. I mean, we already mentioned Breece Hall is doubtful now. He's out, right? But so be ready for that. I went and grabbed Charbonnet because
I did too.
Because Ken Bone Walker is also not doubt. I don't think he's going to play.
Right, he's been a DNP in practice yesterday. Probably, I've been checking the news updates hourly,
yeah,
if not more so, to see what's going on with him in practice today. Because are they ready? But it's before it was the obliques. Now it's an ankle.
It's so many. It just piles up. This is a thing with him.
Totally. And so
for a couple of weeks,
Charbonnet wherever you can. I did too. Yeah. I'm like just waiting for the dominoes to fall. I got all these guys. I got Travis Homer.
I was just about to give you credit for that because everybody on, what is it, Chicago, right?
Yes.
Chicago?
They're all beat up.
Everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt. And Travis Homer, I saw him in Seattle as
a good.
And he was pretty good. He was not bad at all. And when he gets his opportunities and he's fresh legs.
Fresh legs. We have said this over and over again. When you get to this point of the season, Braylon Allen, Travis Homer, it does CJ Anderson.
Your favorite. You know what? Now I know what I'm going to get you for your bird. I'm going to
Don't you do it.
CJ Anderson.
Don't you
I'll see if I can get one signed.
I will burn it in your face.
Okay.
Okay. But if it's one that has proven itself over and over again, you get to this point of the season for running back and exclusively the running back position, nothing can beat fresh legs.
Yep. It's huge. I mean, you saw Guerendo. I mean, when he was out there, he does have elite speed for a guy his size too. His speed is amazing.
They did add someone. If you really you got some dead weight, and it's not Taylor, it's Ava Bakande
Abanaconda.
Abanaconda. This guy, listen, this guy's a gamer.
I tried getting him in Dynasty, and somebody already scooped him up.
Yeah,
me too. Wow. It's amazing.
Patrick Taylor was still available. Abaconda was gone. But probably from the draft. He may have grabbed it. He's probably on their taxi squad. But he's a guy that I think has strength and speed. And if he gets in there, don't be surprised.
You know what? While we're mentioning these players, why don't we bring up one more? You know, now that Taysom Hill is gone, you got Kamara, who's taken a ginormous amount of snaps. There is a guy behind him who has been in trouble with his old coach for many years, but he's been injured. His name is Kendre Miller. Okay.
Sure.
He was great coming out of college. Most people don't even know who he is because I think he's had and maybe a dozen snaps. If that.
You know why? Because he's remarkably able to get injured on the bench.
He's very.
I don't know how the fuck that keeps happening.
No, he was the last time he got put on IRs because the coach hated him, and then after he put him on IR, they fired that coach. That wasn't that Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen, yep.
Yeah, he hated him. He was like, whenever they asked him about Kendre Miller, he would always say stuff like, "Well, I don't know because we never see him because the guy's always injured. He's made of nothing. He's made of glass." And it just was very vocal about hating Kendre Miller and how. So then, as soon as Kendre was like, "My ankle hurts," he was like, "Oh, you know what? IR for you. I don't want to think about you for the next 4 weeks." And they were like, "You know what? This is stupid. You're fired." And now, so he's been fine for the last 3 weeks. You know, and I'm not saying that Kamara is hurt, but he's going to need to be spelled, and someone has to step up. and he is older, and he's going to be taking on a bigger role because of Taysom Hill being out for the rest of the season. So I just say he's another Travis Homer type. Get a guy like Kendre Miller, get these guys, these Braylon Allens, all these guys. This is the time.
Load up, exactly. Load up. If you got dead weight on your bench, load up on backups, and whichever one pops, you got him.
Yeah,
you want to have
by
that
the time
guy
they
in
pop,
advance.
it'll be
by the
too
time
late.
they pop, it's too late. Exactly, too late.
You got to get
Either
it. Got to get there
priorities
step
against
ahead.
you or the money's against you. You got to get him now.
Yep. So
I will say this: if I were to hand out a fuck you, Taysom Hill, you piece of shit, off the bench for fucking 200 yards, 3 touchdowns on the 1 week I needed you to not be nothing like you normally are. You fucking fuck.
I've got a future fuck you to Niles Westbrook-Ikhine, because I know everyone's going to play him this week.
And he's going to suck a
suck.
dick.
So
you know it.
You,
I agree with it. I couldn't. Oh my god. I could not agree with you more. I was thinking it all week. I'm like, of course it's amazing. No one's talking about him. The second he gets the attention, guess what else comes with that? The fucking defense, and he doesn't do shit.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree with that. I know everyone went, blew all their fob on him. Everybody's starting him. And I'm like, good luck. Because he's one of those guys that the second you start him is the second he fucking eats a dick. Write it up.
You want to hear his numbers?
Yeah. No, I already know him.
Do you? Tell me. What do you got?
Okay. He's got like 4 receptions, 2 touchdowns.
No. I'm talking about for the season.
Oh,
how many receptions do you think he's got?
I would top it at 16.
He's got 38 receptions on the season. It's week 14.
That's true.
On the season. How many yards do you think he's got?
Go thrill me.
531 yards. And he's got 8 touchdowns.
Right.
That is not sustainable. That is not normal. And now that everyone's like, damn, this guy's a touchdown machine, he's gonna fall apart. So he was on my what are we gonna do list. And I guess we both
which we will get to in just 1 second, because I got a couple of guys from last night. We'll discuss it. What are we going to do? I'm fucking so mad. So mad. I'm so fucking mad. Okay. Nailed or failed really quickly. Just rattle them off so we can get through that and move on.
I said you got to sit JSN. He got under 10 points. I said take a flyer on Caleb Williams, 29 points. Said take a flyer on Dowdle, 22 points. Take a flyer on Irving, 185 yards and a touchdown, 34 fucking points. Said take a flyer on Freiermuth, 16 points. And I said take a flyer on Arizona's defense for 15 points. All of those nailed.
I nailed the Cowboys defense versus the Giants. People were downing them 29 points.
Delicious.
I said take the Panthers +6, money in the bank. I said take the Eagles +3, money. They won that fucking shit. You could take a money line. Yep. I said take a flyer on Wilson at Cincinnati, 34 fucking points.
Woo!
And I said, this is the week to start Marvin Harrison Jr. If it wasn't this week, it was no week at Minnesota, 17 points. Now, for me, my big fail was taking the under in Browns versus the Broncos.
Oh, God, who saw that game coming? Best game of the season.
And high scoring. I thought it'd be all defensive.
And well, there was 2 defensive scores. I mean,
yes, but they're really good. I thought it'd be a lot of defense, no offense. I was wrong. What was it, like 31-34 or something? It was crazy.
Oh no, it was I think an 8 or 9 point victory. I didn't go.
It was
40-31, but it was incredible.
Blew past the under. I was so wrong. And I said take the Texans -4. When I finally did bet on the Texans, they were -3, so I was lucky to get the push. Because I waited till the last second to place that bet. And so I did get them at -3. So it was a push. So I didn't lose. But I had said Texas -4. And that's on
So did I. That was my one lock last week. So I failed that. I also failed. I said you must sit Andrews, 18 points. I said you must start Baker Mayfield, 11 points. I said you must start K-Dot, 4 points. And my epic fail, must sit Jameis Winston. 500 fucking yards, 40 points versus Denver. Who saw that? Who saw that coming?
Listen, scary to be wary. I would never say must sit.
I said, epic fail.
He's just such. Well, that was that game. It shouldn't have been a high-scoring game. It should have been 17-13.
I mean, he threw 6 touchdowns. I mean, 4 to his team, but 6 total.
Totally.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Incredible. Jameis.
Incredible.
He Jameis so hard. He was
I
Jameis.
had to go pick him up as my backup because anyone willing to sling that ball that much, he's like Baker. You know what? I like a guy who's just willing to throw. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. He's a less accurate Brett Favre.
Now.
Yes.
What are we going to do about these Packers wide receivers?
Oh, boy.
Here I am in a must-win for the bye situation, playing the guy I have to beat to get the bye. And I fucked up. I had him in the fucking flex.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I totally didn't even think about it.
Move. Yeah.
I know. You know what? Well, listen, we all know the kind of day I had yesterday. I didn't double check everything. I was in a very difficult position. And when I watched the game, okay, listen, I'm not chasing the points here. I know he's not going to get another 2 touchdowns. But after a 2-touchdown game, you feel like he'll at least be part of the offensive game plan. 1 target. 0.0.
Mr. Blutarski. 0.0.
Full Blutarski.
Blutarski.
I cannot be more angry. I cannot be more angry. I cannot be more angry.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
0.0.
Even the announcers were like, why are they not getting Jaden
Reed?
Jaden Reed. Couldn't remember if it was Jalen or Jaden. Why aren't they getting him involved?
Yeah.
And because we've seen him score on running plays, jet sweeps and end rounds, because he's got elite speed as well.
And he's clearly the number 1, or supposedly
he is
the number 1 on that
Watson,
team.
I mean, I don't know.
And then they just don't. And this has been a point of criticism for the team to not identify a number 1. So he's got no go-to guy.
Yeah.
He has no listen. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tim Patrick, and we've said this many times about DFS. When you're going captain mode, DFS, you got to have a joker. Got to have a joker. And yesterday, you could have gone with Tim Patrick or Christian Watson. Both of them would have paid off for you. Obviously, Tim Patrick way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But you got to go with the joker. And listen, I have Tim Patrick in Dynasty on my bench.
Sure, of course you do. Yeah.
But all I kept thinking was, in DFS captain mode, you got to have a joker. Tim Patrick was the joke. There's always a joker in the deck when it comes to single game DFS captain mode. You have to pick a joker.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Don't forget captain mode. You got defenses and kickers in there too. So
yeah,
sometimes those are your jokers. It's tough. If it were easy, we'd be millionaires by now, right?
Listen, you're right. We win every week.
So what are we going to do about their? The answer to the question would be, fucking the same thing we've been doing, which is, sweat it every week. And, it's hard to, I don't know. You would think that he would have had a much better opportunity without Dobbs in there too. Yes. They were one down.
One guy down.
And it was Wicks got involved, and it was Tucker Kraft with a resurgence. And
which is fine. I don't mind.
That's okay.
Nothing.
One target to your best guy. And I mean, I don't know.
Luckily, I do have Gibbs. But Gibbs, he beat projection. It took 2 touchdowns because he had almost no yards. He had 30 yards.
Yeah.
But luckily, 30, including 2 touchdowns, beat projection by 3 points, making it a net loss of 7 points. But that's fucking.
When you're trying for a bye, that's all the difference in the fucking world.
And my options were Travis Kelce, MBS. I had a lot of good options down there. But to me, Jaden Reed off a 2 touchdown Thursday night. But to me, it was juicy.
And the one place Detroit is weak. And the one
juicy
place they're
slice, and you're there. Oh my God, it's fucking dust.
It was such a strange game. Josh Jacobs getting 3 touchdowns against one of the hardest, one of the best
run defenses in the league, yes.
In the league, and Jaden Reed getting nothing versus one of the weakest pass defenses in the league. It was a very strange game. I mean, the first half, I wasn't sure if Jordan Love was gonna have any, like, if he was gonna break 100 yards in the game. And then the first play of the second half, he had more. He like doubled his whole.
Yeah, like 94 yards. Yeah.
No, it was ridiculous. He had 61 in the first half, and then 59 yards to what's his face?
Christian Watson.
Yep. To Christian Watson on that one play. And Christian Watson, he's another one that he's unstartable. I don't think I could draft him.
He's unstartable.
I can't draft. I don't think I'll ever draft
You don't know when if you can't start a guy after his 2 touchdown performance, you can't start any of them. Lesson learned. Yeah. You know, we'll get to the playoffs, whether I have to play next week or not. I'll have Derrick Henry back. He'll be rested. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that fuck you.
Fuck you, Jaden. And don't forget, fuck you, Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
So
that's a standing.
So what are we going to do about Jameis Winston? I mean,
you can't start him.
Playing versus Pittsburgh.
You can't start him.
You can't start him. He just got nearly 500 yards against an elite defense.
Okay, I would like to
2 pick sixes and still scored 40 fantasy points.
I'd like to harken back to the reverse of this, which is Jared Goff and the Lions and his 5-pick day, and then turning around and being QB1.
Yeah.
This is the reverse. 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, huge points. Pittsburgh, you think Pittsburgh doesn't see that? Listen, Pittsburgh is a dynamic defense.
I mean, you know what Patrick Surtain didn't see was Jerry Jeudy. Okay. He didn't see him.
He also didn't follow him, which even the announcers were going like, why isn't he following him? Every time he wouldn't follow him, he'd get 40 fucking yards. Oh my God.
Minimum 265 yards or something that game. It was unbelievable.
Literally, when we talk about revenge games, I normally don't put that. I put a little stock into it. It's a little extra. I don't put, but in this game, greatest revenge game in the history of the NFL games.
Yeah, it's true.
Which will come up later. This will come up later when we talk about fucking, flyers and starts and everything else.
I'm going to try to guess who it is, but yeah, man, the revenge narrative is different for different players and different teams.
Yeah,
like we knew Saquon was going to go and have a day versus the Giants. We knew that, but not everybody. Like, I mean, what's his face, Fitzpatrick. I mean, everything was a revenge game. He played for every fucking team, so it was like that narrative didn't work for him. You couldn't use it because he played for every team. Anyway.
Every exactly. And when we're looking at this one and we're talking, about Jerry Jeudy, and it's like, how much this guy got to score on you before you fucking just leave Surtain on it? This is so stupid. What do you got to do to double this fucking guy? Nobody else. They got a joke. They didn't even cover a joke. Anyways.
And it's Sean Payton, which
I know it was a mind-blowingly bad response by the Denver Broncos.
Unreal.
What?
So you're saying we can't start him? You're saying it, right? We can't do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Not against Pittsburgh. Listen, you can look at last week and be like, nah, don't do it. It'll be the reverse of the fucking thing.
Okay.
It's the reverse golf. Now, what are we gonna do about Breece Hall? Here he is. Listen, if you drafted Breece Hall, you're probably not in the playoffs. The reality is, we all got fucked by the rankings. Again, Christian McCaffrey injured in preseason. And I always say, don't draft injured players. I always say that. Don't do it because you're looking at a season of fucking hocus pocus. I said that about McCaffrey. And everybody still drafted him number 1. And it fucked you in the ass. I fell victim to the Breece Hall thing. I'm looking at it, and it's the Jets, and I even know like they're the Browns on paper. You can't trust it, but everybody knows Breece Hall. The teams I have Breece Hall on have ruined my season. Now he's done. I ought to play Braylon Allen, please. It can't be worse. I don't know what it is. Every time they hand her the ball, they win. Then they stop handing the ball, give it to fucking Aaron Rodgers to fucking just give it to Devontae Adams 30 times in a row for no yards and no scores. And it's like, it's Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Brees Hall. You really have sucked. I am so fortunate that I've been able to weather the storm with him. You know, I don't. What I guess going forward, what do you do? I hope, honestly, that they put him on IR so I don't have to fucking make this decision anymore.
Goddamn right, dude. So much.
That's what I hope.
Because they just
I don't
won't give
want
him the ball. They just
the
won't give him the
projections
ball.
are always 18, 17, 6,
No
these
way.
giant projections. And you're like, well, fuck, how do I sit them?
They're like, no, Rodgers has to handle the ball. Let Rodgers handle it. Rodgers has to throw. And then he's like, Devontae.
Yeah.
Whether he's
Well, you know
open or
what?
not.
Zach Wilson had to throw too, and guess what? He threw it to fucking Brees Hall.
Yeah.
And that was so effective. He was so good. And
their best game of the year was the year that Brees Hall was the game
Zach.
where Brees Hall was over 100 yards and like 2 scores, and they immediately abandoned the formula.
Well, they are the Jets.
Well, and you know, obviously the coach and lord of the team is fuckwad Rodgers, so fuck him.
Yeah, well, I mean, we almost nailed it when we said that Seattle was going to lose to them. They tried, but then the Jets just had to jet. They just had to jet right at the end, and they were up by 3 scores, and I was like, we got this. I even picked them in the pick'em league. I took the Jets.
Did you?
I did. I mean, clearly.
Well, you needed to make up ground, so you were like, yeah.
Yes. I took Green Bay yesterday too. That game was amazing. But anyway.
I've got 2. If we're going to talk about pickups real quick, I'm at a place now where like I'm close. I'm in striking distance. I'm in 14th place. But it's going to take some upsets to get into the top 6. It's going to take some upsets.
Yes.
So this week I'm finally going with 2 upsets, and we'll talk about this later in the show.
I can't wait to discuss it. I wonder if they're the same ones that I've got.
Oh,
what are we going to do about Deebo fucking Samuel? All right. This guy has been terrible. It's the worst season. And I don't think I can trust him this week at home versus Chicago. And I think I would rather have Juwan Jennings start than Deebo Samuel. It is hard to sit him. You'd think that maybe he'll start getting carries because CMC is out, but I'm not even sure. I really don't know what's going on with Deebo. I don't know what's happening. The whole team is fucking crazy this year, and I don't know what to do. I don't think I can start him anymore.
It all depends on what your bench is. I would agree you can't. He is what we've learned about Deebo is he's a utility player.
Yeah.
He's a utility player, and it reminds me a bit of Patterson.
Cordero
Patterson. All this talent, all this size. No one knows what to do with it. He has size, but he's not a great receiver. He's a great utility player. And when they get away from doing that, which they do all the time, then he's useless. Because as a singular item of wide receiver, just like Cordero as a singular item running back, not great. They're only
those
good
guys in on special teams. They both excel at special teams.
Like exactly, they're utility players. It's like wherever you're missing, if you can use them in multiple, so it's almost like the team has to be incredibly depleted to where they have to use them in multiple positions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're great.
Yeah.
But short of that, they're fucking useless. I see Deebo as the new Cordell Patterson. That's my comment.
God, I hope that's wrong, because when he is good, he's so exciting and fun to watch. I really love watching Deebo make guys miss. His moves after he catches the ball are amazing, and he has great speed, and it's fun, but he gets injured all the time, and then he just flat out disappears. And this season has been a complete ghost. I mean, I don't know if he's had any good. I can't think of one.
You know what the thing is, and this is what makes him a utility player. He's one of those guys, even though he plays wide receiver, he's like a running back in that you gotta get him going.
Right.
Which is not normally something you do with a wide receiver. It's something you do with a running back. But with Deebo, you gotta get him going. You gotta give him a jet sweep. You gotta give him an outlet pass. You gotta give him a bubble screen. You gotta get him going, and then you get him. But they're not doing that.
Nope.
And if you're expecting him to just go out there and be open, he ain't gonna do it.
Nope.
And
He's
that's
not
just
the
the way
best
it
route
is.
runner. He's not the best
He's
route runner.
not. He's not.
So-
He's a very
so
casual route
Are
runner.
you ready? This is a gross question, but I'd love to hear your answer on this one. Start Debo or Niles Westbrook-Akine this week? Your thoughts?
Oh my God.
I know. Let's say that's your choice, because that's my choice. That's my choice.
Okay. No matter what you choose, you're wrong.
Yeah. Fuck.
You got to accept that going into it.
Ugh.
It's one of those situations where no matter who you choose, you're going to be wrong. We just said Westbrook-Akine. All the eyes are on him now, so he's going to fucking eat a dick. So you got to go with Debo, who's going to give you nothing. So it really is.
Safer floor with Debo.
Yeah.
I guess.
Especially, again, as you said, with CMC out, he should get more opportunities to handle the ball just because you can only trust this Guerendo, Taylor, Alakanda constituency, consortium. You can only trust that so far. I think you gotta, I hate to say it. I think I would go with Debo, but man, most people, I will say this, most people this week would go with Westbrook-Akine. Most people. But you and I both know that this is the week.
I've been flip-flopping, but I know that Akine's going to suck a dick. I know
he's going to eat a dick.
I can't put him in. I just can't put him in. And I hate seeing Debo's stupid fucking name in my lineup, but I can't bench him because my only other choice is that. Everyone else is on bye, and I can't do anything else. I can't do anything else. So I'm going to start him.
At least you didn't start Jaden Reed.
Yeah, you're right. I wonder who's going to have more points between those three guys.
Don't be surprised if
they tie.
If they tie. Westbrook-Akine and fucking Jaden Reed are going to die.
Yeah.
And Debo's only going to give you 6 points. But
Westbrook, I'll take him.
Westbrook is going to be a 1.2 if I had to guess.
1.2.
1.2.
He'll have a touchdown, but it'll be called back.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right. So is this the week?
Wait, no, I've still got one more.
Okay, what you got?
I actually have two more. What are we going to do about the fucking NFL giving us bye weeks in week 14? We have talked about this.
Yeah.
About how they don't respect what fantasy football has brought to their bottom line.
So much.
We're watching all the games. We're buying the ticket. We're fucking gambling our faces off on a level that has never happened before.
Yeah.
Because they have a whole show dedicated to it. They don't give a fuck about that show. They don't care. And yet this is really the financial driver of the bonus market for them.
True.
And yet they just turn around and butt fuck everybody with a massive slate of week 14 buys. I am sorry. Fuck you, NFL. You need to respect what fantasy football has done for your bottom line. And if you think it's just because you're playing games in Europe or you're playing games in Brazil, you're fucking stupid. It is fantasy football that is paying for every subscription you have. The reason you got $1 billion from YouTube for the ticket was not because everyone's just dying to watch that American games. It was because of fucking fantasy football.
Don't you forget it. Fucking.
They just act like it's just found money and people just love the NFL so much.
Goodell, right? That's the
Goodell, yeah.
Yeah, hey, fuck you, Goodell.
Fuck
you. You know that it's us. You're not an idiot.
All these podcasts, you think they're just about football?
Yeah.
They're about fucking fantasy football, you fucktard.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's driving your bottom line. This is why I buy tickets to see teams I don't give a fuck about.
Right.
I go see fucking the Ravens playing the Chargers, paying hundreds of dollars because I got them on my goddamn fantasy team.
I want to be there
I'm a
live.
Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I just fucking threw $500 in your pocket because I fucking have fantasy and I love fucking watching Derrick Henry run. So really quickly, just what are we going to do? Chubb and Ford, that combo has turned into a fucking quagmire over there in Cleveland. And then, of course, all the Jacksonville, Evan Ingram, all the way, Brian Thomas Jr., now that
I think he's still okay. I think BTJ
is okay. I think Ingram is a sit. So
Agreed. I think he's probably the only one that I would still feel
oh,
okay
absolutely
starting.
is just the only one. And Mac Jones does seem to be looking for him the same way.
He's not an
So
idiot either. He knows what he's
right,
doing.
he knows he's the best guy. So that is the thing to do there. And Chubb
I
and
would.
Ford, if you're still trying to start either one of those, you're not in the
I mean,
playoffs.
if you
So
have to start one of them, you'd start Ford, right?
would you?
If you had to, like, if you had to choose between them, you'd start Ford over Chubb. I would.
Chubb's getting the majority of the snaps though.
He's getting the goal line, I guess, but it's clear that he's not.
No, clearly. I
You
said
were
it.
right. You were right. You were right.
All right, let's go to this is the week.
So don't be. Oh, this is the week. Oh my gosh, we are really behind here. Let's do it. This is the week. This is the week that Amari Cooper gets over 15 fantasy points and becomes relevant for the Bills.
I love that. And I agree with it. It could have been last week, but the snowball thing, I think, shut it down. But you could see they were trying to get him more involved. And I like that. I like that prediction. This is the week that Jonathan Brooks does something that gets our attention.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say he takes over the position. I'm not going to say he's top five. All I'm saying is he's going to do something against Philadelphia, which is going to be a very tough game. But he's going to do something. Show it to me. There it is. Right? There it is. He's
unbelievable that you and I are on the
do
same
something.
I say he's going to get over 10 fantasy points.
Right. He's going to do something. There's going to be one big play that is going to announce his presence with authority, and everyone's going to be like, I'm telling you, this is the week.
I cannot agree with you more. And you know what? This is the week that Mike Evans finishes as wide receiver number 1.
Okay, I have to say he was my first alternate. He was my first alternate for wide receiver 1. But I'm going Justin Jefferson. This is the week. Whoa. Justin Jefferson versus Atlanta. I think I like the matchup. I think Jjetta number 1. But I have to tell you, it was between him and Mike Evans. Amazing. I'm looking at the matchups and I'm like, I was like, no. I think it's Justin Jefferson.
You know, it might be Jefferson too, because he's been sort of not a factor the last couple of weeks. And I don't know how squeaky his wheel gets in the locker room, but I imagine he doesn't keep it to himself, that he probably chirps a little bit.
He could probably use a little bit more love. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's probably chirping a little bit, and that could be the squeaky wheel thing. Wow. Again, right. What a mind meld. Well, are you ready to move on to the surprise?
No. This is the week Saquon returns as RB1 versus Carolina. Woo! Even though you know how much I love watching Carolina become this thing. I gave that impassioned speech, and it's happening in our very eyes. But the Philly defense being what it is, and Carolina still being Carolina, I like Saquon to be. And okay, this is going to surprise you. Who do you have as your QB1? Did you not pick one?
I had one, but it was
Who is it?
Yesterday. It was yesterday.
Who was it? It was Goff?
It was Jordan Love.
No, I get it. And really, in December, Jordan Love thrives. And in that's why I was like, Jaden Reed. And if I'm being completely honest, the day before I saw him being in my flex spot, I'm like, no, he's my flex. That's my flex choice, is Jaden Reed. That was my flex choice. And I conscientiously stuck with it.
No, I'm so sorry. Sucks.
Now, for me, QB1 this week, Tua Tagovailoa.
Ooh,
versus the Jets. Spicy. Versus the Jets, who and they're in Miami, which I very much like. That's where they need to be. He's been lighting it up as of late. He even did it in the cold, delivered 30 points in the cold. I like him at home versus a flailing Jets team. Listen,
it's not just the offense, the defense.
That's what I'm saying. The defense has quit. The defense has quit. The whole team has quit. It's literally just Rodgers and Devontae Adams. That's it. No one else gives a fuck anymore. They have all checked out. They have bought tickets to the fucking vacation destinations. So this is a walkthrough for the Miami Dolphins. I like Tua number 1.
I actually really like that pick a lot. I didn't think of it. But now that you've got me thinking about it, I see it. I can see it happening.
And one last one. This is the week Cedric Tillman comes back to life. He's been injured, he's been missing, but they're up against Pittsburgh. And do you think Pittsburgh maybe was watching Jerry Jeudy go off against Denver?
Sure hope so.
Do you think they're not going to maybe bracket Jeudy this week? Because I guarantee you they do. And it's Tillman will have to wake up to save their fucking bacon. And we all know he's going to sling it. Jameis is going to sling it.
No doubt about that.
I just think his best option all day is going to be Cedric Tillman, which before, like, it was Tillman, so everyone focused on Tillman and it woke up Jeudy. Now it'll be on Jeudy, and I think it'll swing it back towards Tillman. I like Tillman to come back to life. I'm not saying he's going to be, but I'm just saying he comes back to life this week. This is the week. He's back.
I like it.
He's back. I like it this week.
Are we ready to
we are.
Be surprised? All right, so mine are all just about teams beating other teams. That's
I have two of those and one player specific. Go for it.
So don't be surprised if the Cardinals beat the Seahawks.
Understood. Totally.
Don't be surprised if the Chargers beat Kansas City.
I actually will be very surprised.
Don't be surprised if the Bears beat San Francisco.
Right there with you. That's on my list. Cross that off.
That's
I would say don't be surprised if the Rams beat the Bills.
Woo! Okay, I will be surprised.
They're one of my upsets this week. They're one of the ones I'm picking them to win.
Where are they playing that game?
In LA.
Okay. That's good.
In LA. And the Bills, they just still have that weird thing and the Rams have a great pass rush. It couldn't, don't be surprised. And my other one, I also have the Bears in the pick'ems to beat the Niners. Yep. So those are my upsets that I'm putting to, and don't be surprised if Will Levis is a top 5 QB this week.
He's in my sleepers flyers.
He's up against the Jags. The Jags, they're again, they're like that slutty girl in college who's willing to just be like, "You're still awake, you win." They love handing out winners. They just love making quarterbacks look fucking amazing. And Levis, he's slinging it. He is unafraid. And don't be surprised. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm not saying this is the week. I'm just saying don't be surprised.
I think that's good, especially since there are 6 quarterbacks that are out of the running.
Yes.
So top 5.
Top 5.
You know, I can see it. I
like it. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Let's move on to our starts.
Okay. Who do you got for quarterback?
One blanket start, which is Philly versus Carolina. I'm going to pick on this game a lot. And again, no one believes in Carolina more than I do. Nobody likes the resurgence. Nobody likes the rebuild more than I do. But Philly's defense is a different animal right now.
Jeez, they are good.
They're a different animal right now. And that's what I'm saying, Jonathan Brooks will have one amazing play that'll get our attention. But I believe that their offensive production will be limited to that play. I just don't like anybody else from that side. And I just think that defense is going to create tremendous opportunities for the Philadelphia offense. And my other QB1 option was Jalen Hurts versus Carolina, just because of his running upside and touchdowns. That was my alternate. And so I just must start. And this includes Devonta Smith, who's back, seems healthy, ready to roll. I like everybody must start versus Carolina.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. You already called Barkley RB1, and he can do it. And he can do it through the air as well. We've seen him get to 300 yards.
We've seen him do it against better teams.
Yeah, sure. That's exactly right.
I hate to pick on the Carolina this week because again, nobody's a bigger fan of the rebuild, but this week's gonna hurt for them.
Yeah. Well, I got 2 quarterbacks to start, and I think you got to start Sam Darnold. You said you like Jefferson. Someone throwing at the ball and it's got Darnold. So
I like it. I saw that too. Yep.
And this one seems a little, but remember, there are 6 teams on bye. I really do in my heart. This is not a flyer. I believe this is a must start. Cooper Rush. You must start Cooper Rush versus Cincinnati. Their defense is ungood. Okay.
I absolutely have them in my flyers.
Yeah, I get it. And I was close, but I wanted to give the confidence to anyone
Well,
listening.
I mean, they were the ones that gave fucking Russell Wilson 34 points. So I think Cooper Rush could easily duplicate his production.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. I am in a flyer though, as opposed to a must start. My must start is the opposite of your game. I like Kirk Cousins in a revenge game against Minnesota.
Ooh, revenge. That's the one you were talking about.
I like it.
I see. Well,
I don't always buy into the narrative, but this is one that I really
Cousins has been on a bad run.
But this is the same guy that threw 5 TDs on a Thursday night. Like,
True.
He's that guy that it's week to week, and I'm saying this week he's a must start in a revenge game versus Minnesota.
A little risky, but I like it. A must start. I guess it's
must start.
Well, I guess it's not. Start. It's not any riskier than Cooper Rush as a must start.
Not at all.
I
right
get
there.
you.
Yep.
It's hard.
Less risky than Cooper Rush.
Though. Yeah, probably less risky. I don't know if you look at the last 5 weeks, or I bet you.
No, the matchup is fantastic for Cooper Rush. Since he is right there with the Jags in terms of handing out fucking trophies to quarterbacks.
Super generous. Super generous. I got a couple of wide receivers.
Okay, I got a couple wide receivers and a bunch of running backs, so go for it.
All right. Well, my 2 wide receivers are I really love, and I think you must start Darnell Mooney this week.
Oh, I like it.
Okay. Drake London is awesome. Okay. We were wrong about him. Okay. We were wrong. And Cousins he's shown that he's very good and he likes to target that giant target. But Mooney has been sneaky awesome this whole season. I think this game, he is going to go off. I think that Minnesota is going to try their best. Now, whether they'll be able to do it or not, that remains to be seen, but they're going to try to stop London. And I think Mooney's going to be the recipient of that.
Well, and this plays right into the Cousins revenge narrative. He's going to want to sling it, and somebody's got to catch those balls. I like both those guys this week.
Yeah.
For me, do you have any more?
I have one other. I've got one other, and because we were talking about Will Levis, and we can't trust Niles. You know where I'm going. It's Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley,
must
absolutely
start. Against the Jags, got to do it.
Yep. For me, it's MVS at the Giants, because again, the Giants are like the Jets. They're checked out. Fuck them. It could be another big game for him.
I got him in my sleepers. MVS.
Yeah.
Yep.
My other must start is Marvin Harrison Jr. I told you to start last week. and he showed up. I fucking knew it. Now against the Seahawks, they're gonna have to. They need him again. I like him.
Divisional game, always tough. I
love him and Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Arizona. I also like him as a must start in this game as well.
I think DK Metcalf may not play.
Which makes him even more.
Which would really, I think it'll help. I think it will.
I would rather DK play. I think that makes it easier on MSN or JSN.
JSN, yeah.
So, but either way, I think.
But he'll be hyper targeted.
Yeah.
Yes, he'll be blanketed. But my God, if you get 16 targets, you got to make something out of that. And Geno's been accurate.
Geno is Geno. He's gonna sling it. It.
It's crazy that he's a thing. I thought he was a fluke that last year. I thought, that's a fluke.
This season has not been where people thought he might be. So, but he's good enough. And listen, he's leading the division. He's leading the division at 7-5. I mean, let's not pretend he's been amazing.
Yeah, well, but I mean that's
the division's been bad. Yes,
yeah, that's true.
He's more a beneficiary of the division being bad more than him being good.
So I've only got 2 running backs to start, so I'll do those quickly, and then I may knock 2 of yours out. You got to start Tony Pollard, and you got to start James Conner.
Got it. Those are literally the top 2 on my must starts. Pollard versus Jags, Conner versus Seattle, Chase Brown versus the Cowboys. Now, Cowboys have been much better against the run, but Chase Brown being the short pass catching run guy combo, this is the kind of running back that unfortunately gets away from the Cowboys really fucking fast. So must start Chase Brown. You already mentioned Dowdle. I have him as a must start. I like Swift versus San Francisco at San Francisco, just because Roshan Johnson's gone. Roshan Johnson's gone. That's right. If
That's why
Swift
you got Homer.
plays,
Yeah.
right, exactly. That's why I picked up Travis Homer, but it's looking like Travis Homer is going to be the backup. It looks like DeAndre Swift is going to play, and if he does, I like him versus San Francisco because
So
of
a must start. Let me ask you this:
Yes.
If he doesn't play, is Homer a must start?
No, he's a flyer.
Got it. Got it.
And Braylon Allen, he is a must start for me. Must start.
Yeah.
The talent is out of control.
And it's actually a good matchup.
Yes, so I love that. And then one defense, I have no tight end specifically, but I do love the Eagles defense. Again, I'm picking on that Carolina game.
Yeah.
But I think the Philly defense, I mean, listen, after they put up double digits against Lamar and company, and I'm like, listen, it's a bad day for Carolina. I love what they're doing, but the Eagles are going to just fucking murder them.
I know it's not going to be fun, but it is what it is. Hey, you're going to have to play against teams like this. If you want to be a team like this, you're going to have to figure it out.
Listen, if they stay competitive, I will have even more respect for Carolina.
Yeah, same here. I don't know what the line is. I should look that up. But if they can,
I have it actually because it's in my. I got it.
In the roll of the dice.
It's in my roll of the dice. It's in the
what is it? I'm curious.
I'll tell you when we get to roll the dice.
Okay, all right. So I do have some tight ends to start, and I said it last week, and we're gonna let it ride, baby. In fact, we're gonna play both these tight ends who are playing each other. I'm gonna take Freiermuth again, and I'm taking Njoku because you said he loves to sling it, and I think Njoku is going to be a big recipient of this.
Well, I think Njoku's you have to start Njoku either way. Now, though, Freiermuth, that's a bold choice, and I like it.
Twice in a row. So that's it. Those are my must starts, and I don't have anything with defense. So I'm straight into sits at this point.
Let's go to the sits. For me, one blanket sit, and again, hate to keep coming.
Carolina, baby.
Just don't like. Even with Jonathan Brooks, yes, one big play for 40 yards, maybe even 40 yards and a touchdown. Probably a short pass, and he just takes the house, but it's not enough. Sit everybody in Carolina.
So I said you can't sit any quarterback this week. You can't, there's no must sit quarterback this week because all the quarterbacks are necessary. There are 6 missing. You can't afford, who must you sit?
Russell Wilson. I know I said start him last week. I'm saying sit him this week versus Cleveland. So
you'll play Will Levis. You'll play Will Levis.
I'll play Will Levis over Russell Wilson. Without question. Without a moment's hesitation.
That's going to be your option.
Without a moment's hesitation, Will Levis over Russell Wilson this week.
Wow. Okay. Well, so would you start Mac Jones over Russell Wilson?
No.
Okay, so I guess you must sit Mac Jones. I guess that's the one. But you're not starting him anyway. No one's got him.
I mean, at this point, we're just talking DFS. Because if you're if you're starting Mac Jones, you're not even you're in last place. So
you're an idiot. You're trying to tank. Yeah.
Yeah. You're exactly. You're playing for first pick.
Well, so my 2 running backs to sit are Chuba Hubbard and Nick Chubb.
I don't. Well, that would make sense. And I would agree with both of those. I don't have any running backs to sit. My one wide receiver to sit, unfortunately, is Neighbors versus the Saints. Even though they no longer
is sad.
Yeah, but he's banged up. He's got Drew Lock throwing him the ball now. They're going to start him again over DeVito.
Right.
I think it's a bad situation. I just don't, especially because he's banged up.
Yeah.
And he's not quarterback proof. He's a rookie. He's not quarterback proof. So
I say you must sit Jaden Reed. He has 0 points. Sorry, too soon. Is that too soon?
I hate your face. I hate your face.
I couldn't help it. Hey, but seriously though, you must. That's a harsh reality.
It really is. It's a harsh reality.
There is one wide receiver that you must sit, and it sucks because you drafted him in the top of the second, bottom of the first. Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Must sit Garrett Wilson. Clearly, Aaron Jones has decided, or Aaron Rodgers rather has decided he's just throwing to Devontae Adams in that.
Absolutely. He's like, there's no one else on the team. It's just me and Devontae. If I can do it, do the fucking look at us and make me together. Hate them both.
Yeah. So so really that's the only true wide receiver that I have, because again, it's really hard with all these teams on bye to say you have to sit. I do have actually 3 tight ends though that you
I
have
have
to sit.
one. Let's see if it's one of yours. It's Ingram. I hate to go back to this.
Yep.
But
Must
yeah,
sit.
Jags with Mac Jones. Because Mac Jones, he looks for Brian Thomas Jr. He does not look for Evan Ingram the way that Lawrence did. He just
Which
doesn't.
is stupid because Ingram was great.
You're 100% right, but the numbers bear it out. He
True.
He doesn't look for Ingram. So
he won't do it. No,
yep.
There's that guy. What's his name? Oh my God, Patrick Wilson, is it? Or some guy, some dude, some random receiver has been killing it over there with Mac. He loves this guy.
We've seen this every time the backup quarterback comes in. It's
yeah.
some backup receiver that was the only guy available for him to practice with the whole time. So guess who he has chemistry with?
Feels
this
good
fucking
about
random backup guy that and it is a sneaky play DFS.
Yes.
But that should always be considered if you're going to go with a backup. Is a guy that is the one guy. He's the wide receiver 3 that they didn't need a lot in the bring in the ones, and he's over there with the fucking backup guy running routes all fucking day. That's the guy. So I could see that being the case.
Yeah. Well, so I had Ingram. I also have you must sit Kyle Pitts, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just make this like going forward forever. Like,
yeah.
I don't think he's playable. We've tried. This was supposed to be the year. It's just not. I don't understand it. Okay, I don't get it, but it's never going to happen.
Nobody gets it.
I don't get it. And I know
for me, the other must sit I have, and this is also for the remainder, Tyler Lockett. I mean, even if DK doesn't play, they just don't throw him the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe he's too old. I mean, he's
old
like
now.
32.
He's aged out. He's aged out.
And maybe he's just slow or something, but Geno Smith just will not throw. He'll throw JSN in double coverage before he throws it to Lockett, who's open.
It's true. He does. I guess he doesn't trust him. Maybe
doesn't look at him, doesn't see him. He's a non-factor. Unfortunately,
and don't forget that Lockett broke the shit out of his leg a few years back, and it was one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember it.
I don't specifically.
Several years ago, but I mean, maybe all of that between his age and having to go through that. I mean, shit. I had a surgery, and I'm not an athlete, and it hurts, man. Like, I don't understand how these guys have all these surgeries and come back and play fucking football. Like,
dude, so much of it is just eating pain. It really is. Same with UFC fighters. You have to have a different level of threshold for pain. Simple as that. That's why when you see them out there on the cart crying, you know that is a pain that is unfathomable to the normal person.
Most of the reason I think they're crying isn't pain. It's because they know they're going to miss the rest of the season, and they're sad about that. Like I think it's
pain. All right,
it could be.
Yeah, their foot's facing the wrong direction. It's pain.
Usually they're in shock.
It's not disappointment. It's pain.
They're in shock at that point.
Yeah, until they put them on the cart, and then they feel it, and then they fucking.
And then the pain, and then they cover their heads.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see them cover their head with a towel. That is an unfathomable amount of pain.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Scary, be wary. Who you got?
I got Purdy and Stafford.
Solid. Understood.
Beware. Stafford versus Buffalo. I know that you think they're going to do great, but Buffalo's defense is really good. And I think it might be more about Kyren Williams than it is about Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
I 1,000% have. Kyren was my other number one option, but looking at the Eagles versus Carolina, Kyren is top 5 for sure this week. Lock it in.
100%. I agree with that.
My quarterback is Burrow versus the Cowboys. I know on paper it might seem, but this is that, they're looking at the Cowboys season long. You got to look at them over the last 3 weeks where the defense has been the band's back together again, and they wrecking shop, dog. This is a defense that wrecked shop on Washington and Jaden Daniels. This is a team that's wrecked shop on people, and they're going to, and this is not last year's fucking Bengals. This year's, they're back to being the Bungles. And so
I have terrible luck.
And so you may want to start him. I'm not saying sit Burrow, I'm saying scary, be wary. He's gonna get sacked a few times.
I agree. Look, Parsons is such a game changer, and without him, our defense was atrocious. We were among the worst. Everybody is shining. Everybody is shining because he's back.
Like, well, because it unleashes, right? Because they have to double team him, which unleashes Overshown, and when Lawrence is in there,
so good,
right? And he was in there when everyone else was gone, but everyone's double teaming him. Now they got to do that, and all of a sudden,
DeMarcus Lawrence,
DeMarcus Lawrence. That's what I'm saying. So scary, be wary on Burrow.
Yeah, I get it. Thank God I'm not playing for anything this week. Scary, be wary. Bijan Robinson versus Minnesota. They're the third best versus the running back.
Yeah.
And that's the only running back I've got. I had Josh Jacobs. Of course, he scored 3 touchdowns. But, just for, full disclosure, I did have that. But, I would have been wrong. But Bijan, I say, you're going to start him because he's Bijan and he's had an incredible year. Just beware. Temper your expectations.
For me, my 2 running backs, Guerendo versus the Bears. I know everyone's like, next guy up, but they really seem to be leaning towards sort of a committee vibe now. I know we all think that they're going to stick to this featured running back shit, but they're down to running back 3, and they've added like everybody on the planet.
Everybody. They added so many.
This to me signals a team that does not plan to lean on Guerendo. They're going to mix in some Taylor. They're going to mix in some of this Abanikanda. It's not going to be what we're used to. And again, Guerendo, he's done great with the opportunities he's had, but he's an RB3 for a reason. You can only go so far down the depth chart before you begin. There's a noticeable difference in ability. And that's all I got to say there. And Tyrone Tracy versus the Saints, again, only because
I think that's a good matchup for Tracy.
You would think that, except that the rest of the team sucks.
Yeah.
And they're not going to try very hard with Drew Lock and with what. So what do you think New Orleans is going to do?
They're going to go to Neighbors and Tracy, and they're going to say, I'll take these guys out.
Yeah.
So I guess Theo Johnson would be a nice sleeper.
Maybe a nice sleeper, but I don't think anybody is usable right now on the Giants. I wouldn't touch them this week.
Yeah, it's hard to touch them at all. I mean, period. Tyrone Tracy is fun.
Those are the ends of my scary be wary. Again, you're probably going to start Tracy, but just know.
I think it's a good matchup. It's just he does seem to be having a fumbling issue, and I don't think Dayball's a big fan of that. And, we'll see what happens there. I get it. Be wary. I've got a wide receiver. I've got one wide receiver, and that's Puka Nacua. Be wary. He has been a target magnet. He has clearly surpassed Cooper Kupp, but I think that everybody sees it. And I believe that Buffalo is going to do their best to get rid of that. And, so I say be wary of him and be wary of Jonnu Smith and Travis Kelce as tight ends. Jonnu Smith is playing the Jets, and they suck, but they're the 4th best versus the tight end. And Kelce is playing the Chargers, and Chargers defense is pretty good, but the
Chargers defense is fantastic,
and they're 8th best against tight end. And Noah Gray has also really come of age. So.
This is why I played Reed over Kelce in my flex, because I have Brock Bowers as my tight end. Thankfully, but I was like, Kelce isn't getting the shots. It's all he's spreading it out. Then Watson and then Gray, and so I'm not high on Kelce this week. Jaden Reed, I'm like, he's a receiver. He'll be out there every play.
I would have done the same thing. You should not feel. I would have done the same thing. Because you're gonna start Bowers, and you never love starting 2 tight ends. You don't
never love it. Exactly. I'd rather
nobody
play
wants that in their lineup.
Yeah.
It's like. So I get it.
And MVS, I mean, listen, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, yes, he's been a big play guy, but you know how many receptions he had last week?
8?
4.
Oh, that's it?
4. And you know how many he had the week before?
4.
3. So he does a lot. He's a big play guy, but without those, he's got nothing.
He's the new Shaheed.
And so again, Reed looked like. We're done with this.
Well, let's just hope MVS he gives you that bang, 2 touchdowns, 200.
I didn't play him. It's too late.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
I'm not putting
Well,
him because I have Khalil Shakir and I'm going to take the safe floor. They're playing in a non-snowball environment. When I saw that weather, I was like, I am fucked. Oh shit! This is a running game day. Oh my god! And it was, even though San Francisco had to go through 3 fucking running backs, it was still a running day because it's snow and it's hard to throw. And second I saw the weather change, I was like, I'm fucked. Oh my god, I'm fucked. And that was a game time weather change. It was clear as a bell leading right up to the game. And then
unbelievable. Everything should have a dome that is retractable. Every stadium should have a dome that's retractable.
No, I like the weather. I think it's fun. I think it's real
you
football.
shouldn't have to play against the fucking weather.
I like it. I like it.
All right, let's get to some flyers, my friend.
Let's get sleepers and flyers. Who you got?
I got 2 guys that these are clear flyers. I mean, Jameis Winston and Bryce Young. They're both flyers, clearly. Okay, they're flyers, but let's try it out. Look, Winston, he did it last week. Maybe he'll do it again.
Wow, you have chosen 2 very bad matchups.
Flyers, I know. That's why they're flyers. And Bryce Young, you know what? He is so competitive, and he really is starting to get that scrap on. And I think that not strap on, scrap on. Okay, don't hear what I'm not saying.
Well, guess what he's going to get fucked with?
A strap on.
all day long, baby. Philly is going to fucking strap it on and put it right up his ass all fucking day long.
Yeah.
My quarterbacks are Will Levis, who I've discussed earlier, versus the Jags. Love that matchup. We both agree. Cooper Rush versus Cincy. Yep. You have him as a start. I have him as a flyer. And Derek Carr versus the Giants, just because the Giants have clearly given up.
True that. Running backs, I've got Isaac Guerendo. I think everyone is doing that. And how about I added this late, Zach Charbonnet, because of the whole Ken Bone. Okay,
that is literally my one flyer running back, Charbonnet at Arizona.
And then should we get sincere? Do you want to get sincere with our running back?
No, I don't.
You don't want to sincere McCormick yourself?
No, I
don't. Flyer?
I don't.
Hey, man, I think everyone else is hurt. I think the whole thing is all of them. Amir Abdullah is hurt. Zamir White is not only hurt but just terrible. Madison might be back. They've got nobody else. I think sincere McCormick might.
And you know what? That puts him in the flyer category.
Yeah, might take a flyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't like the matchup. I'm not excited about. And you know, I saw him last week, and I was not impressed.
Unimpressed. Yeah. Nonplussed.
Wide receivers, Westbrook and Kane, whatever, versus the Jaguars because it is against the Jaguars. I think it'll be more of a Calvin Ridley day, but he'll still, he seems to, we'll see. We both never, but sleeper flyer, Westbrook and Kane.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's it for me as sleepers and flyers.
I've got Amari Cooper. I told you I think he's going to be good. Let's take a flyer on him because he's not been relevant, so he really is a flyer.
It's been a minute. Yep.
And then I've got MVS versus the Giants as a flyer. I believe that he's got, he's kind of always a flyer, honestly. And then
I had him as a must start just because, again, I'm picking on the Giants because the Giants are on vacation.
And then I got 2 tight ends.
Okay.
I got 2 tight ends. I think Goddard is going to miss. So I say let's take a flyer on Grant Calcaterra. I've been talking about him a minute. And I know Will Dissly gave you a goose last week, 0.0, a Blutarski. But I like Will Dissly versus Kansas City. They're the second worst versus the tight ends. And
I was going to say, I actually like him too. I should have put him in my must starts because I am starting him in a couple leagues because I like the matchup. And McConkey's banged up.
Yep.
And you take McConkey out of the equation, who's left? You ain't got, and that's
Palmer.
why I don't like it as a whole.
You got Palmer and you got Quinton, your favorite.
Because,
Johnston.
I know.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Johnston. Oh, the ball. What is that? Why are you trying to hit me with that? Oh, I was supposed to catch it.
That's the under. Oh, got it.
I don't like him. And without J.K. Dobbins, I'm sorry, Gus Edwards seems to be a fucking flat tire.
He's bad.
And then they just mix in the other 2 willy-nilly,
I think a flyer on Vidal.
That's why. No, I do think Dissly becomes the one viable flyer there, but I don't like the matchup at all. Let's make people money. And again, I did pretty good with my bets last week. I did real nice at this. I had 3 winners and 1 push, so I'm not mad about it. And 1
I
loss.
had 1 lose because I took the Texans -4, and they only won by 3.
3. I know.
But I got my
thought
dice
4
rolls.
was a fucking. I thought they should have rocked them, but
I got my dice rolls right, but I didn't. I only had 1 lock. I have 2 locks this week.
I have 2 locks, 3 rolls.
I have 2 locks, 2 rolls. My first lock, Bills -5 over the Rams. I know you see this as an upset.
I do.
So we're going to be on. To me, I just feel like, they're trying to get the number 1.
Totally. Yeah.
So they're playing for a lot. And I think Josh is also trying to get that MVP. So, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot more on the line than I think, is normal for him. So I say you'll lock it in -5. And then I'll take the under 44.5 Bears versus Niners.
I love that. I love that one. That's solid. For me, my locks are Chicago +3.5 in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the plus. I think they're going to win outright, but I'll take those points just in case.
Sure.
And Cowboys +5.5 versus Cincy. I mean, when you talk about the strength of the Cowboys team being the defense, that's what keeps it close. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't have them picked to win. I expect, but 5.5, I'll take it.
I'll take that.
I'll take 5.5. Now dice rolls.
Yep.
Top of my dice rolls is a team. I've been picking them all day, picking on them all day, but I like them. I like them, and that's Carolina.
Yeah.
+12.5.
Wow! Oh my God! That's
versus
so
Philly. I mean, every game has been close against the Chiefs, against all these teams. I think it'll probably be a 6.
Is Philly still trying to win anything? Like, are they still going for? Are
the
they
number 1
running?
seed? They're still going for number 1 seed.
Okay, then they're not going to pull.
They're not going to. They're not going to let up. They're not going to let up.
Might be good. Yeah.
They're not going to let up. But I just like Carolina. I think they lose by 6 to 10. But 12.5.
12.5. Shit, they may lose by 12.
Right. So I say roll the dice.
Sure. You know what? I might do that. I love getting all those points. It feels so good to start.
12.5 is a lot. It's a lot in the NFL.
Professional football.
And it's because we all look at it as a beat up game, but this is a team that fights hard, is finding their identity, have 2 good running backs. I mean, I like the opportunity. 12.5, roll the. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'd roll the dice on that.
So my dice roll is the exact opposite of yours. So you had 5.5. I only have Bengals. I have -5.
So it depends on what site you're using, I suppose.
Yeah, I always use Bovada, but Bengals -5 over the Cowboys. I'm taking that as a dice roll. I think that as much as I love the narrative, and I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong on this because Dallas, but I've been saying it for weeks now. I think this really is it. This is the last chance for Cincy. Where'd that come from? All of a sudden, did it get blingy in here?
Yeah, I just like to break it out every now and again.
Oh wow! But yeah, I think that this is their last chance. They got to win out, and if they don't, this is it. I think it's all or nothing. It's all on the line right now, and I think, like you said, Chase Brown, I think is going to really eat.
He's going to be very difficult for the Cowboys to contain. I agree with that, but I still think the Cowboys defense is good enough to keep them in it. And again, we both agree Cooper Rush, should be in line for it. So for me, my other dice roll, Rams +4 versus the Bills. While the Bills may win, I actually like the Rams to win outright, but at least with the 4 to lose by not more than a field goal. I like that one a lot. And my final dice roll is Cleveland +7 versus Pittsburgh.
I have one more dice roll. I like that when I'm thinking about it. I have one more dice roll. I think you're going to like this because you're a fan of these, I think, the over-unders. I've got an under bet here. The Saints and the Giants, under 41 points. It's a low over-under, but I'm still taking
That's tight. Under. Yeah, that's tight.
I'm still taking the under.
I like it. I would take the under on that. But listen, I was the guy that took the under on the Cleveland, what's it called?
Denver. My God, nobody saw that. That was crazy.
Unbelievable. That
it's a dice roll.
It's a dice roll. You got to roll the dice sometimes. All right.
So that's we gotta share our sites on betting because you've got two better lines and I have two. Like I have a better line on one side and you've got a better line on this other. The Bills, you've got 5.5.
Yeah.
Or 5.5.
Maybe it moved. I don't know. I haven't. Let me check and see what they're giving me right now.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Oh, wait. Let's check the Walker update 1 hour ago.
He gone.
Okay, hold on.
He gone. Charbonnet. It's the Charbonnet zone.
Hold on.
Is it a Zach attack?
What do we got here, Walker? The Seahawks just don't know right now.
That's not news. That
Two
is not
separate
an update.
lower body injuries.
It's not an update or news.
So
How is that something to tell?
my
That's
feeling
nothing.
is, here's the thing. Even if he plays, he's
not 100%.
He's not 100%. He's only going to play so much.
Charbonnet is a great flyer.
Charbonnet is the play.
Yep.
But that's Sports Illustrated right there telling us what happened. So
well, I would like to wish everybody out there a very good luck this week. I know that many of you, this is it for you, this is must win to get into the playoffs. I hope you all make it. And if you're trying for a bye, I hope you get that bye. And if you are out of it, I hope you leave the best players on the wire alone unless you have something truly to play for,
I did that this week. I could have gotten Guerendo in one of my leagues. I had plenty of fab left. I could have gotten him, but I'm like, I'm in last place. Not last place, but I'm like, I'm eliminated.
I can't make the playoffs.
I am eliminated.
I did the same thing.
I got a big fucking E next to mine. I'm going to leave him there, let a team that's contending take him, or let someone else be the asshole. I wasn't going to be the asshole.
I did the exact same thing, and I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah.
Because I actually started with Guerendo in there, and I went, that's not cool.
Me too. I had him in there.
And I took it out. And I said, this isn't going to help me.
Need him for what? I'm eliminated. It says it right there.
Not cool.
I'm in the consolation bracket, and our consolation bracket is for nothing. So it doesn't matter. Oh, actually, it is for one thing, because it's my comedians league. And so last place.
Oh, penalty?
Has to do a routine, a stand-up set written by the rest of the league. So
oh no.
Yeah, and it's super fun. We did it last year. It was so great.
You got to record that. I got to see this.
Well, the problem with it last year is the guy that took last place, I was like, can this guy not fucking read? He could barely read he just read them like come on, give it a little Allegro.
No, he doesn't want to do it, because it's a punishment. So he's not doing it with any bigger.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, if there's anything to say, I have to close on a certain note that I don't want anything else to come after it because it's a bit personal. So go for it if there's anything.
Okay, there is one last thing I would like to say, and that is I was so fortunate to see Everything Is a Lie being filmed live in Addison, starring Greg Romero Wilson.
Thank you.
It was one of the greatest. It was flawless, start to finish, 0 down, nothing bad. Everything was a fucking winner, and I cannot wait for the rest of the world. And not to mention, Rob, I want to give you a shout out. The music. I'm so glad.
Right, that intro hit like a fucking hammer, didn't it?
I was jamming in the audience. Listening.
The audience went crazy for it.
I was jamming out, man. Rob, great job. So proud of you. So proud of everybody involved. Everybody, the lights, the sound, every single thing. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the camera work and what you've done editing. Again, I can't wait for the world to see this. I know this is gonna launch you further, and you deserve it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Man. Excellent job.
Thank you. And as high as last week was, this week, forgive me if I get a little emotional here, the comedy world lost a real star in Kabir Singh. He was a semifinalist on America's Got Talent a few years ago. He was close personal friend. And he passed in his sleep yesterday. And not leading into this morning, leading into yesterday morning. So 2 nights ago. And if you don't know who Kabir Singh is, just go and enjoy his Dry Bar special. Is one of the best you'll ever see in the world. He was a real talent, and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I will miss him dearly every single day. So enough of that. It's always great to have fantasy football to fall back on. Hold him close. Tell him you love him. This has been fantasy football. Very harsh
Harsh.
reality.